And we are live for What's Upper Pinellas.
Hello.
Hey, Marianne, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Woo-hoo.
All right, I was officially given a piece of candy, so I guess I am. I guess I am part of the. But yeah, we live on a street with no kids, so apparently my wife bought us 2 bags of candy to eat over the next couple weeks.
People are not out as like they used to be. I don't see kids out. Yeah. Well, I'm usually hiding with my lights off behind.
Don't like to answer the door, huh?
Well, if I buy candy and nobody shows up, I eat it. So I don't like to buy candy just in case.
It's so funny. Yeah, this is I'm not a big Halloween guy. The kids always had to pick something that was not scary, demonic, or and all that fun stuff. So it's
I've always enjoyed Halloween because I like costume. I like to setting it up, sewing and getting dressed up and all that kind of stuff. But I like to not as much anymore.
And we have sound, so not as much as when kids aren't there. I mean, obviously seeing what the kids.
They are actually.
Oh, look at that! So I'm there. Remove you and add you back to stage. Let's try this. Stop extra camera. And extra camera. Add. Your camera came off also, which.
But I'm still here, folks.
Let's see if you.
Nothing.
Uh-oh. Disconnecting and reconnecting things over here just to see if that works. Add to stage. La 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 la. We're having some fun now. Start camera. So I'm here. That works. Yes. And then. Oh, let's see if that works. It didn't. Oh, whoa, we got it.
And I didn't do anything.
It's all me. So it was. I dropped my phone on the where everything comes together and went and just whacked everything out. So sound effects.
But we're back.
You are paying extra for sound effects, folks. All right. So let's just make sure that we can hear. Hello?
Yes, I heard. Oh, yeah, we can hear.
All right. Got that. All right. So we have sound, we have visual, and we have Marianne, and we have Brian. So
we have another guest too. My little pupster's here. We took her for a special treat since it is Halloween. I took her to the office today, and she came along. So.
And what is her costume?
She is actually a little teddy bear. I have a little teddy bear costume for her. She didn't like to wear it, so.
That's so funny. Awesome. All right, so let's jump into this. How was your real estate day?
I had a good day. It's been a good week. We had some closings this week and today, and some things I want to ask you about too. But we'll get into that. But we also had. This is kind of funny. We had Thursdays, we have a team meeting at Keller Williams. We do lots of training, always training. Our team meetings are always very insightful. And today we had, what is your humor persona? So I got to take a test, and there's a website called, what's it called here? I'll let you know what it is. But I took this test, and I found out that I am a humor inventor.
Okay.
It says,
so what's a humor inventor?
It says that based on the answers that I provided, I am a humor inventor. As the inventor, you're like a scientist of mirth, experimenting with different comedic formulas and observing how people react to them. As we have seen Brian react very differently, many different.
I was just say they kind of hit that nail on the head.
You don't just tell jokes, you create them. Crafting humor that is uniquely yours.
That's funny.
Anyway, so that's what I did today. It was quite fun. It is called Working Humor, and I can get you the website. You can take that.
I should take tests and know where I am.
So that's what I did, and then just kind of following up, scheduling showings. The market has been getting busier and busier. We got a lot of people that are out looking, a lot of people that are out selling. So definitely a change. How about you?
Well, I want to step back real quick and just tell you that when you do catch me off guard, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you, because it could be the other way.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate your sense of humor, and I would like to take that quiz. My real estate day started at 4:45 this morning.
I heard.
I had normally when people send stuff to me, I might get 10, 14, maybe 15, individual files, and client I'm working with right now had told me in advance that has 7 accounts. So you're thinking you need 2 months of each account. So you got 14, and maybe I might have 20 files, and got, planning my day last night, and I opened the thing and there were 68 files. And I went, whoa. So got here, got up 4:45 and got here about 5:15, and 12 o'clock for my first closing of the day. I was 10 minutes. I had to hit go to send that thing out to get, the process and to set up for e-sign so we can get it to the lender. So that was, because each file I have to open up, rename it so that my processor can look at the file names and see what they are without having to open up 68 files to find the one thing she's looking for. One of the files had 50 different pages in it for 50 different things. So it wasn't like, here's my tax returns and it's 50 pages long. No.
Poor Brian. Poor Brian. He has a client that either has 1,000 pages, or then he's got a client like me that would be like, I don't know. How about this little scrap of paper? Will that work? And then he has to,
the corner of this cocktail napkin with.
Then he has to chase me down. And he's like, well, how about this one? And how about this one?
No, it's all part of the job.
It is, but it is not an easy job. So let's recognize that.
Yeah.
It's not an easy job, and we appreciate you.
Yep. Thank you. And went to 2 closings, and one closing with the hurricanes and people leaving the state. Contract was signed like 10 days before it hit my desk. And when it hit my desk, they're like, oh, you got, basically 16 days to get this closed. So start to, from the minute I got to the clear to close was exactly 2 weeks, 14 days. And 4 of those days were weekend days. So appraisal, underwriting, title, insurance, everything involved. And so literally where people were all stressed out, I was like twiddling my thumbs with a week left to go to closing on that one. And then the other one was a completely new scenario for me. I mean, we used to do these loans back in the day. They call them, no income, no asset, no nothing. Just get a credit score and show up and sign, and you got a loan. Back in that time, they were 0 down. Now they're at least 20%, 20 to 35% down. But for self-employed borrowers, if you have enough assets to prove after you put 20% or 35% down, and you can show assets to cover the payment for the next 12 months, lenders will close you on a high enough credit score. So that's it's a new product to me. It's been out for a while, but I've heard all kinds of horror stories. So I waited till I found a company that, you know, I know was closing loans and saw them closing loans and worked with them. And it was fantastic. So got that done today for a self-employed borrower.
That's awesome. I just want to say though that so when you have a lender that says, "Oh, you know, we're gonna need 6 weeks," you might want to ask some questions because Brian got this done 2 weeks. You say
Yeah.
it was 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Now that's not everything because some things are just a little bit more complicated. They have more things that have to be done. Correct.
Right.
That can't be done in 2 weeks.
Right. It is. It's you know, I sat with the clients today and they're like, you look a little tired. I told them got up at 4:45 and why. And they're like, well, how are we as clients? And I said, you know, you asked good questions and you provided what we asked for. And when people do that, you make great clients. When you go, well, I hope he'll take this, and then we go back and forth 3 times, and you're still not giving me what was asked for, and I'm not asking for it. The underwriter is, you know, and so it's the game of, you know, give the underwriter what they want or give the underwriter what you think they want, and 9 times out of 10, what you think they want is not what they want.
Right.
So,
and they want what they want.
They want what they want.
Not what you think they might take.
But, you know, with 24 years experience, there are variables of that can happen, as long as we can provide the information, that they get the information that they need to be able to make a decision as to whether or not you're a good risk. You've verified your income, your assets to close, or whatever the case is. But, you know, when your bank statement says 1 of 10 pages and you give pages 1 and 10, and all the ones in between are gone, they're not going to take that.
Right.
You know, so that's the, you know, connecting the dots, collecting the information, connecting the dots.
Which is something I want to touch on, you know, in a little bit, because there's some things to be aware of anyway.
Yep.
So, but before we do that,
moving on to your listing.
Yes, I'm very, very excited. Before I do that, though, I want to just say hi to those watching. I see Lisa Miller's out there. Hey, Lisa.
Hey, Lisa.
And yeah, so
yes, I will respond to your last text.
Sorry, that's why he hasn't responded. He's busy.
Yeah.
Playing cameraman.
So
this is a new listing that we have in Eastlake Woodlands, which is in Oldsmar. Unbelievably beautiful house. I'm so excited. It's not even live on the market yet. It's going later today. That's why we're allowed to show you. But it is.
You want to
take a little bit. Can we have a little? Yeah, that's nice. Now I sound all bougie. This is
comic inventor at work.
This is a 5-bedroom, 2.5-bath home. Absolutely stunning. You just bring your toothbrush practically. I mean, no, it's not furnished, but you know, you could just move right in. You don't have to do anything. It is a 5-bedroom, 2.5, 3-car garage, 3,294 square feet. And it is in the Worthington section in Eastlake Woodlands. The roof is 2017. The air conditioners 2023. We're having an open house on Sunday from 1 to 3. It's at 4915 Augusta Avenue, and it is listed at $965,000, which is, you know, when you get there and you see how luxurious this home is, you will be so very impressed, and you'll realize what a great deal this is. It's a great community, and I believe our teammate Lori Finger is going to be doing the open house there. And so please come on, stop by and see us.
Nice. So the Worthington, do you access that off of, I call it McMullen Booth, but it's the Parkway,
so
Eastlake Parkway.
I would go in, you can go in either way, but I would say the closest way would be go through the Tampa Road entrance, and it will be on the right-hand side. So there's Worthington is a larger community on the right-hand side if you're going on the Tampa Road entrance.
Nice.
That's where it is.
Nice.
And I believe Sunday's the only day we're allowed to put open house signs up. So that's why it's Sunday, 1 to 3. But if you can't make that, call me, reach out, and we'll get you a private show.
And we can maybe throw up Marianne's phone number.
Oh, that's another thing we can do.
There we go. So,
Yes.
Anything else? It's a great looking house, great looking pool and spa. Yeah, it sounds like there's plenty of space in there to entertain. And
It is. It's just really fantastic home, and a nice property and a nice neighborhood. Nice community, a lot of amenities. So definitely check it out.
Awesome.
It out. So that's we have and keep your eyes posted because we're going to be showing you a lot more properties we have coming up. As I said, we have some really fantastic ones. I'm pretty excited. Well, Brian's going to take. So let me ask you a question, Brian. You were talking about the your closing and how you got this stuff done, and you went to the closing.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
So. Oh my gosh! The little girl's a rescue, so she's come a long way. She's a little old blind lady, but
she wants to talk.
So, talk to me a little bit about you being at the closing table, because I've been with some other lenders and they don't go. And tell me the process, because a lot of people who maybe coming from a different state don't have a lender that works that closely with them. What is the process at the closing table with the lender?
So part of what I do before I show up is make sure that we know what the lender's expectations are for closing, as well as where when are they going to send the money to closing, because until the money's received by the title company is not closed, and you don't get the keys to your house. Now there are some arrangements pre-occupancy, post-occupancy, and
which no agent wants to enter into, because
right.
It's just asking for trouble.
Yep. And so depending on the type of loan, that could be they don't send the wire to the title company until they have signed documents that they've reviewed, making sure that signatures and initials, dates, notary stamps, notary witness, all of those things are signed in the proper place on all pages, and make sure that when it's scanned and sent to them that there aren't pages missing, that pages aren't blurry, that kind of stuff. And so, hopefully you're working with a company that funds, sends the money to the title company before the closing, and all you're waiting for is what's called a funding number. So it's already left the lender, gone to the Federal Reserve, and then down to the title company's bank account. And they say, yep, we received your accounts, we received your funds. All you need now is, funding authorization, which comes from, if we're funding it at the table, it comes from my corporate office. So I'm sitting at the table, and as soon as she gets up the scan, and say, hey, the scan's coming over. And if you could look at that for me when you get it, and let me know what's missing. And so they're communicating with me at the table. They're also communicating with the title agent, because the title agent is the one that literally is legally responsible for doing that job. But in being at the closing, I can make some of that stuff happen a lot faster, because I'm not facing somebody else's loan or talking to another client. I'm there at the closing, handling what needs to be handled, what everybody's waiting for, which is funding.
One of the reasons I brought this up is because I had a closing this week where it's kind of funny. You said you did all this stuff in 2 weeks. This was like a 65, 70-day closing period, just because of the situation of the buyer and the seller.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of time to get everything done. However, we found at the last minute, there were some things that it had to go back into underwriting on the day of closing, or the day before closing. Actually, there were some other things that had to. And when we say go back into underwriting, that's what happens is that the underwriter says, okay, this looks good, but we want A, B, and C to be confirmed, to be done, or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. That's called the conditions, right? So, and then the buyer or the borrower does all those conditions, and then it goes back into underwriting before they say, okay, we're good to go. At this particular closing, the lender was not there. It wasn't Brian. The lender wasn't there. I found out later on he was on a honeymoon, which is good for him. We didn't know. Anyway, so we went to the closing and we signed a bunch of papers because there's a big fat stack that you usually get to sign. And then the title company, the closer, stopped before we finished everything and went and submitted. They had the loan papers and that was submitted to the lender. So they didn't waste any time. And so the lender could review that and make sure that everything was done like Brian said. And then they came back and they signed the rest of the papers like the deed and those other kinds of disclosures.
So you have mortgage papers, you have title company papers, you have insurance papers, you have realtor walkthrough papers. So there's a bunch of different people that are represented at the closing table, not just the mortgage person and not just the title company. So what Mary Ann's saying is they sorted their deck to get the mortgage paper signed up front so they could scan that. And while the lender's doing that part of it, now the title company's going through title insurance and title insurance as well as homeowners insurance, and then realtor final walkthrough and making sure everybody's covered that needs to be covered at the closing.
Right. So we're sitting there. We finished with that little the next stack of papers, and then we're waiting, and we're still waiting, and we're still waiting. And we had a series of challenges. The funds from the buyer didn't get there from the other title company because they were selling their house. And so we had to take care of that. And then the lender's funds didn't get there also. So what happened, Brian, was later on that day, we found out that the lender sent the funds, but the Fed, this is what I was told, the Fed kicked it back because of, I don't think it was the Fed, but it got kicked back because of the hurricane, is what they said.
So the Fed is a clearinghouse. Right. The Fed is not an underwriter. Right. The Fed is not a lender. And legitimate, there are sizes of wire transfers and transactions at banks that require reporting 5,000, 10,000. But when you're going from a lender that sends out wires every day to title companies that receives wires every day, what happens with the Fed is they're tracking the money going where it comes and where it goes. And it's not like a text that goes from me to Mary Ann, from lender to title company. It goes to the Fed, and then the Fed, it takes time for them to get those funds, see the funds, and then send them back to the title company. So there are times, and there are banks, they're not banks, but Fed, has times that they stop same day wires because it's the end of the day in certain areas.
Right.
So, but Fed does not stop funds from flowing for hurricanes. Lenders do.
Okay.
Because they have to verify that what they're sending money on is still there, and it's still in one piece, and it is in occupation. You can live in
inhabitable.
Inhabitable. That's the word I'm looking for. Not occupiable, because that's not a word. Inhabitable. And there's no storm damage. It wasn't flooded. There's not, there's not mold growing in it, that kind of stuff. And so sometimes lenders require a post-hurricane inspection. If your appraisal was done before the hurricane, now the hurricane comes through, you got to do a post-hurricane inspection. Sometimes they just miss the dates. They don't know the date the hurricane came and the date of the appraisal and which happened first. Right. So there can be, errors on the underwriting side of going, oh, we don't have the post-hurricane inspection. We can't close this. We can't fund this because they didn't look at the dates of when the appraisal was done versus when the hurricane was done. So I don't know if that helps or.
Well, it does help. And I think that if you were at the table and it was your loan, you would have been able to say, oh no, this is what happened, and it would have got cleared up. Unfortunately, the funds didn't make it through till the next day. And, it was all okay. We worked out, we did close, but that's just one of those things, you wonder, why is it important who you partner with? Mm-hmm. It's because of these tiny little things that come up all the time.
And I have, I do have great support staff that helps me. I don't do everything. I'm not I'm a one-man band, but I don't do everything. I have processors in a home office that support me very well.
Okay.
And I'm careful who I do business with. I don't just go, oh, you're the lowest one, let's do business with you today. And you're the lowest one, or you got this new program. I'm going to be the first. I'm going to be your guinea pig. Let me run out and be your guinea pig and see if I can get this closed for these people.
Right.
no, the trust is too hard to build. It's easy to break, but it's too hard to build. So I'm conservative and careful in what I do, so that I can say, yes, I can do that. I'll just go slap it up its wall, see if it sticks, like pasta. So but it does make or break relationships, because, if we make a realtor look silly, to their clients or the listing agent, it's hard to get your contract accepted next time,
Right.
Or your mortgage accepted next time.
Right. Awesome.
So,
awesome. I just think it's, the buyers were sitting at the table. They don't know why we're waiting. They don't understand the process. So I'm glad that we can go over this.
Yeah. And it's, there are very few mortgage people do go to their closings because they think, hey, that one's done. Let's go get the next one. My time's better spent getting the next one because that one's done. And they blow up all the work that they did on the front end by just not paying attention to what's going on in their closing.
Right.
So,
Right.
So, tell me about why people want to close their home purchase before the end of the year.
We were talking about this earlier. We're coming up to the end of the year, and something we get a little busier at the end of the year. Everybody thinks it's the holidays and it's not that busy, but that's not actually true, because if you are planning on purchasing a home and you purchase and you close after December 31st, you will not have a homestead exemption the following year. You have to be living on, or you have to own the home on January 1st in order to qualify for homestead exemption that year.
And what's homestead exemption?
Homestead exemption is a discount or a break that you would get in your tax base. So they don't ask me. I should.
So once they assess your house, let's say for $400,000, they give you a $50,000 reduction on how much they're going to tax you on. So they only tax you on $350,000.
Correct.
And the other benefit of it is then they cap how high your taxes can go up in any one given year to 3%.
Right.
So that locks in. So when you're not homesteaded or you're buying as an investor, your taxes, if the house appreciates 20%, your taxes can go up 20%.
That's right. And that another thing that comes up is that when I have buyers that are looking at what the current taxes are, they're thinking that, okay, so that the taxes on this house is only X amount of dollars. Well, just remember that is going to be reassessed once there's a new transaction, and it takes into account the current market value, which is based on the purchase price that you have. So if you buy a house that somebody lived in for 50 years, their taxes are probably pretty low currently, but it will make a substantial jump.
Yeah. And you can literally see where the little old lady and a little couple that own the house for 50 years and they're paying $1,000 a month. The very next door neighbor is paying $5,000 not a month, $1,000 a year. Mm-hmm. The next door neighbor is paying $5,000 a year. So there's a $4,000 difference, $400 a month, give or take.
Right.
Quick 10 month a year math. But they're literally next door neighbors because the guy next door just bought his house last year and his taxes reset based on that purchase price. So it is something you need to be aware of. And when I send out my initial paperwork, it has what I estimate or anticipate, because I don't have an address. I don't know specifically. I just know price point, what those taxes will be. And if you happen to stumble across a little old lady and little old man that are selling their house with $1,000 a month taxes, you will benefit in what you pay every month. But when that tax bill is due, you need to be ready for that jump because it wasn't homesteaded for you.
That's right.
So it could be a double-edged sword in that if you go, oh, we got this low payment, we can buy this house, and you aren't anticipating or knowing, that's where people get in trouble, because when the bill comes due, they go, do you want to pay that difference now, or do you want me to spread it over the next 12 months? So not only did your tax go up to $5,000, but that difference that you didn't plan for gets tacked into your mortgage payment also for the next year. So your payment doesn't go up $400 a month; it goes up $800 a month.
Yeah, it can really trip some people up. Mm-hmm. So it's just something to keep in mind if you're looking. Let's let's get out there. Let's book some of those appointments. Let's get you in that house.
Yeah, and there are opportunities and great reasons to purchase before the end of the year. And so if you have questions about that, I have a little puppy that's changing the pages. So I can't see what's our next topic we talking about.
So I just want to mention though, do you know, I don't think you remember my Pine Ridge purchase.
Mm-hmm.
I closed at like 5 o'clock on December 31st. It was like we were rushing to get everything done, and I don't know.
And who was at the closing table on the last day of the year with you?
Yes. One very PO'd closer. And my mortgage guy.
And your mortgage guy. And your mortgage guy.
And my mortgage guy.
Got to make sure it happens. And so, yeah. So those are, you don't want to wait till the last minute because everybody, she's licking the keyboard and causing things to go sideways. She's sweet. She's like, you must have left some peanut butter on your keyboard because I don't like things are happening down here that you guys can't see.
That's not a good.
That's funny.
We can move on. So,
no, on the keyboard, the mouse is moving and what we're supposed to be talking about next is disappearing.
So let me ask you now. Okay, since we've gone way off the rails, it's been crazy. I'm really kind of excited that our topics have. We've moved on to some other things, but there's still a lot of recovery going on. And you in particular, I know that you've had some good things happen recently with regard to recovery. But what else? What can you tell me about hurricane?
So people are kind of muddling their way through, what's going on, and some of the cities are putting out information because city by city, each city does it a little bit differently on how they value what the order of things has to happen is, and there before you start demo, you're supposed to have a permit, and some of the cities usually charge for those. They're waiving those for the hurricane, and they're processing. City Tarpon has a mobile permit bidding, permit mobile RV, and so they're making exceptions, and they're trying to help people move along as fast as they can. But there are also people getting caught in the system because they don't know. Like they demoed their house, but they never came and got the free permit. And so now they're starting to put their house back together, and the building inspectors and the FEMA inspectors and all these people are like, whoa, where's your FEMA thing that says whether or not you've exceeded the 50%? And where's the proof that you remediated this property properly? Where's the post inspection for remediation that you didn't trap a bunch of mold under your tile floor that you didn't chip up? Where's all this stuff? Because you have to be able to provide the proper documentation to get your building permits and to keep the process moving. And there are people that are using the first guy they can get their hands on, or the cheapest guy that maybe doesn't have a license. And so the Barrier Islands arrested, this is a week ago, they arrested, it was 82 people on 102 offenses for working without license and looting. So there's some stuff going on that's a little crazy. And I heard something, and this is like, reading it on the internet because I did not verify it, but I heard that there were some cities were changing their permitting requirements, whereas, for example, putting in flooring was not something that needed a permit, and now they're requiring those things. So part of that is, if you saw any of the videos of Helene that came through and flooded, that's the hurricane that flooded most everybody, or that had flooding issues up in north of the Tampa Bay. Obviously, Milton flooded people south of Tampa Bay because of the way it directly hit. But north of Tampa Bay, Helene was the one that, again, some of those videos, the vinyl flooring and the floating floors and that kind of stuff were floating. And so they already knew that they came up and water got under those. But I've seen videos from esteemed established realtors in South County saying, "Yeah, we cut all the wood out and we're doing a remodel, so we pulled all the cabinets out, but these tile floors, we don't have to pull those up because they're tile." And what they fail to realize is that the grout is porous, and water gets down there, it gets under the tiles, and creates mold situations, mildew. Excuse me, the three M's. No, I'll say that M word. The three M words under those tiles, and can create a sick house because the tiles weren't pulled up and properly treated. So my son's house in Tarpon, when they came through for remediation, they said the remediator said it, and the appraiser, not the insurance appraiser, said those tiles got to come up, and there's a treatment that you have to put on it. So when they came and said, "Yep, everything's dry, you can go on to the next step," they didn't bring the treatment for the floor, so they had to come back and treat the floors. So there's steps that the insurance company, that depending on who you're dealing with, FEMA, the insurance company, flood company, are going to check, and then building companies can check because they don't want all these sick houses in their city. So the really what we want to say is just be aware that there's processes in place that you have to follow. It's not just go do it yourself. And then we're still getting lots of calls and opportunities to help people that are stuck financially. We're helping them, separate their equity to put their houses back together. And so if you are one of those people that's stuck, I'll throw my number up there now. Feel free to reach out. No cost to have a conversation and find out what we can do. We have 8 different rehab programs, and we have 6 different new construction programs. And so if you exceed the 50%, or your house was leveled, down to the slab, or anything in between, we can fix you. We can help you. So
and if you're out looking for new properties or doing some of these things, you might want to be looking for someone to help you in the form of a real estate agent. So I just want to there's new regulations that say that you must, before you are shown a home, the agent must get an agreement signed by the buyer. It's called a buyer's agreement and has to be signed. And so you enter into an agreement with them. So I just want to remind everybody, before you start doing that, you want to, it's perfectly okay to interview different agents. Just like
interview an agent. Why would you do that?
Just like you would do if you were listing your home. It's the same thing. I know they don't have to. Once they've met me, they can move on.
No. But I'm just saying that there are questions. You go, "Oh, well, my sister's an agent," or, "Oh, my friend at the through PTA is an agent." And people do business with people they know, like, and trust. But when you're talking about the largest investment that you may make, or something you only do 3 to 5 times in your lifetime, or every 5 or 10 years, there are questions that you want to ask them. So let me ask you. And
there's regulations that change. So even if you've bought and sold a couple of homes, unless you've done it recently, there may be different regulations that are involved.
So you being, an experienced agent, and not just one, that does, a loan every 3 years, but I mean, or a purchase transaction, or sell, transaction every 3 years. Somebody that's very well versed and very educated, not only educated, but experienced. What are some questions that people should be asking their realtors?
Well, I just want to say the Vanessa Leonard Group does have a buyer's guide that I could share with you that has a list of different things that we do that would answer a lot of these questions. But some of the questions you might want to ask are, what is your experience in the industry, specifically as a buyer's agent? What kinds of, this is an interesting statistic, and I don't have my exact numbers. So, but it is, what percentage of the list price did your buyers pay? Is your agent out there negotiating for you, or are they just processing? And I'm happy to say that my actual purchase price to list price say this right, or my list price, the list price to purchase price.
So when you're buying,
my buyers pay less than the average.
So the list price, and you want to come in,
You
lower than, not above,
You
not
wanna-
above, but lower than.
Right. You want to get the house. You want to get the house, and you don't want to overpay for it. So that's a question. Does somebody know that? How do you determine the needs of and the preferences for your clients when searching for properties? It's really an interesting thing that it's interesting to me that the majority of people will tell you that what they want their agent for is to find them a property. That's nice, but that's not, in my opinion, where the most value is. I mean, I'm going to find you an off-market property, or if you can't find a property that, you've been looking for a while and we don't find what's on the open market, I'm going to help you to try and approach owners that may be getting ready to sell. We do that a lot, but really, I think where the importance comes in is getting the deal to the finish line. That's without too much hassle with you, where you're paying less. Can you explain the difference between a pre-qualification letter and a pre-approval letter? And you can ask that of your lender as well. They are not the same. Describe the process in finding suitable properties for your clients, and what kind of marketing strategy do you use to help get your clients the properties that they're looking for? I mean, that's just a few of them. There's many, and we have we have a whole guide. So hit me up and ask me what interview me.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that is nice about working with you, and being able to see how you work, because from the number side, the logical side of things, I'll tell people where they what they can afford, and they know down payment, closing costs, kind of purchase price, but they don't know where those houses are. And so they may find a house in this neighborhood, but the house is torn up or doesn't necessarily fit their needs, but they like the schools, they like the area, they like the community. And, through marketing strategies, how do you find the people around that house or in that neighborhood that did not put a sign in their house yet, but, could or would if the right opportunity came for them.
Right.
And so that's one of the things that you and I have done time and time again, is people find the neighborhood, start with 10, narrow it down to 3, narrow it down to 2, narrow it down to 1, and then really get like, this is where we want to live. And then we
approach people that aren't selling
and
ask them if they'd like to sell. I mean, and they may be thinking about it.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a lot that can be done that's more than just sending you MLS listings.
Yeah.
So the other thing is that I just want to talk about how beautiful the weather's been lately.
Yeah.
Hasn't it been fantastic? Have you been out on the boat? Have you been? No. Yeah, right. Ooh, sore subject.
No, I still have to get my crab trap into the water and start that. So
we were talking about that.
I told our mutual friend Chris that I would have them done by Wednesday, and here it is Thursday, and they're not done. So I am looking to do them tomorrow, so I can get them out either tomorrow afternoon or by Monday. Because 7 to 10 days from now, I can be eating fresh,
right?
free stone crab, at $70-$80 a pound,
Wow.
for the big ones.
Wow. Wow.
It's quite the
so when
fun.
if you do that, you can also go by Safety Harbor this weekend.
Yeah.
To the Safety Harbor Wine Festival.
The wine festival.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can find stone crabs down there too.
Yeah, and I actually don't drink, but it's one of my favorite events of the year. I pour well, that's what I say. It's just a fun time. A lot of people. It's a good time. The weather's going to be absolutely perfect. So it's Saturday, the 22nd annual wine festival, and it is. What did I found out? It is like the largest festival that they have. So
when say it's your favorite festival, what besides wine and that kind of stuff, what other kinds of things happen?
Well, they have music. If you've ever been to Third Friday, it's similar to Third Friday except more. and it's a little bit more elevated because they have different wine tastings, they have food, they have vendors. So there's a lot to be done and a lot of socializing. I think that the reason that I really love it is because a lot of people come out for that. And so you get to run into a lot of your friends that
Nice.
you haven't seen in a while, in a great relaxed atmosphere. So
Yeah, very cool.
mhm,
Very cool.
mhm,
So the weather's been great.
mhm.
Festival, maybe some
Festival.
stone crabbing.
And then I got to say, next week I won't be here.
You won't be here.
I will be in
I know where you'll be.
Mexico.
I know where you'll be.
I know. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. We want to wish Brittany and Bobak all the best because
Yeah.
they're tying the knot.
Wonderful, wonderful wedding and festival and traveling to a different country and all that excitement. So
Yeah.
wish them well as well.
I'll be talking about
And
it
safe
next
travels.
week. Thank you.
And we'll miss you. And maybe we'll do a remote from Mexico. Maybe.
With a non-alcoholic cocktail in my hand.
No arm twisting whatsoever because time zones and internet access and all that stuff come involved. So,
but that would be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I wouldn't mind doing that.
That would be fun.
We'll have to chat on
some guest people pop in because I know we'll have some mutual friends at at the wedding. So that'll be cool. And best to your daughter and your new son and the expansion of your family. Right. It's always a blessing, and look forward to see how that goes.
Great. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for being a part.